Our first guest is Mario Lanzarotti. Mario is a mindset coach and an entrepreneur and speaker here to talk about the imposter syndrome. Welcome, Mario.
Pavlina, thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining. So, what is the imposter syndrome?
That's a great question. The imposter syndrome is that curse that so many high achievers are experiencing, and it is that voice in the back of your mind that says, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve the success that I've created, and it's that feeling of like people are about to find out that I'm really actually only a fraud.
Yeah, and that can be very discouraging. It's really hard to deal with that. I know I've dealt with the imposter syndrome. How do we fight that inner voice that casts the doubts on our visions?
That's great. That's a great question. And I would say rather than fighting it, making it your friend, because the source of the imposter syndrome is a lack of love. It's a lack of self-love. And especially in the high achiever community, we tend to be so hard on ourselves. So actually focusing on celebrating ourselves, on appreciating ourselves, appeases that voice that causes us to feel like we're a fraud. So we can actually come from a space of self-worth and worthiness to create more of the successes that we actually want in life.
Absolutely. And that can be a big struggle for a lot of people, that self-love. But what kind of people really get the imposter syndrome? Is it more women? Is it more men? What about like the upcoming generations with like Gen Zs? Like, do they struggle from it more? Like, who's really having these issues? Besides really successful people that want to, or high achievers, I guess.
Yeah, it's usually the people that should not have it, the ones that are very successful and very good at what they're doing. But the higher you climb the ladder of success, there's a degree of this being normal when you haven't done something, or you have done something for the first time. Then you're a pioneer. But if it persists, then you're falling into the imposter syndrome. So it's difficult to say that there's only a particular kind, but I find it's usually the people that are seeking growth, the people that want to achieve. And I personally work with a lot of women on this, but I myself have struggled with this as well. And I also have some male clients that do struggle with it. So I don't think it's related to age only. It's more so of your approach to life if you are someone that wants to create a lot of success and achievement and impact in life in general.
Absolutely. So why is mindset important and how does that influence what you do?
Because mindset is really where everything starts. I mean, what you see in your mind is what you create in your life. The first you have a thought, that triggers an emotional response, and that creates a certain behavior. The behavior over time creates a certain result in your life, and that is a perpetual cycle because then the result that you create reinforces the belief that you have. So before trying to change your actual results, try to work on your own mindset, because otherwise you fall into the cycle of self-sabotaging. And that is very prevalent among people that suffer from the imposter syndrome because they believe they don't deserve the success that they have and the one that they want to create. They tend to sabotage the success of the future. So they're always pretty much taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Everything starts in the mind. And so I would say start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Do it with kindness and stop blaming yourself because that really doesn't serve a purpose.
Absolutely. So self-love, positive mindset, and how you kind of associate yourself with yourself. What is a solution that you would have for someone that's struggling with the imposter syndrome?
I always say small steps lead to giant outcomes. Start by every single day recording a video, ideally sharing it with someone you trust, but if you can, it's okay as well. And then start by celebrating 3 small wins. And you actually have to say it out loud. Today, I celebrate myself for. And I would recommend not focusing on a doing part, but on a being, because we are not human doings, we're human beings. I know, big surprise. But most of us, we forget, especially the high achievers, only focus on the results. And if they don't achieve the results, they feel like a failure. They feel like their day wasn't worth it. So when you focus on the part of the being, that is much stronger because it's your core, it's your base. And that's where you really positively approach the imposter syndrome in a way that is effective so that you can actually create success that you feel worthy of.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mario.
Pavlina, it was an honor, and I thank you for what you're doing. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.